By winning the Formula Ford Driver to Europe Championship or Series, that was a pretty solid step of getting into Formula One. I went to this British Brands Hatch track for the World Final, and that was a real eye-opener, because after the first practice session I looked down the sheets to see where I was, and I was used to looking up the front of the list from my Australian days, and went down page 1 and page 2 and page 3. I finally got to my name. I was 86th fastest out of a field of 120, and my God, I can't believe this. This is what's happened, And the next practice session, though, I moved up to equal 5th quickest or equal 3rd quickest, I can't remember which. That was a real turning point in my mental approach to the racing. I had to crank myself up to a much higher notch than I'd ever thought I needed to. When I was on the limit in Australia, I was really only driving at 7/10, and it was a real challenge to get up to where the rest of the world was. The good performance I had at Brands Hatch opened a lot of doors immediately, and I had offers of free cars and so on, and that's how I got into Formula One. Chris Amon, a New Zealander, very good driver, has started his own team and wanted to run 2 cars, and I'd caught his attention for some reason, and I, as a young bloke, was absolutely excited about this. A guy who owns Formula One cars wants me to drive for him, and I'd only been in Europe 1 year, and so I jumped at that. But it turned out to be not a good team, I suppose, for lots of reasons, mostly technical. I first met Bernie Ecclestone in 1973 at the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard. I got to know Bernie very well, and a vacancy come up in Formula One. He rang me up and said, "Hey, I've got a vacancy here because of, I forget the exact reasons. I think Carlos Reutemann left the team to drive for Ferrari, and there's only 3 races left in the year, and he wanted to put me in," and I was delighted that he did that, and that's how I got into Formula One with Bernie. But it didn't last, because I couldn't hold my drive into the next year because of problems with the sponsorships of... I know Martini and Rossi wanted a name driver. They didn't want an unknown bloke from Australia. They don't even sell Martini and Rossi in Australia. In the end, Bernie had to yield to the pressure because I could not pay any of the bills. I brought no commercial clout with me. It left me out in the cold, so I only had a short stint there. I used to then see Bernie Ecclestone well after I'd left Formula One and returned to Australia. But now we've moved to Melbourne and more time's moved along, and Bernie's got more busy. I don't seek him out anymore because I'm sure he's got better things to do than talk to his old drivers. But he was a good lad and a very honest bloke. Formula One teams, especially if they're towards the back of the grid in those days, always suffered from lack of preparation. And it cast me, in my mind, very firmly in future: control your own world. I controlled my Formula V and my Formula Ford, my European Formula 3 championship. I was totally in control, and I won races. I got into F1. I weren't in control, and things fell apart a lot, and I failed. And I had to accept that, but I've learned from it. My greatest regrets in my whole Formula One career is that I didn't make it as such. I did 13 Grand Prix. I didn't make it, and mostly I know I didn't make it, not because I didn't have the ability, but I was quite naive in the political world in those days, and I sort of happily walked away from Formula One in 1978, and but then I had regrets and so on, but I got over all that now.